Hey everybody, welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another entitled Parents Reddit video. It's been a minute. If you are new to the channel, then subscribe and click on notifications so you don't miss out on the fun. In our first story, when an ambulance has to double park on the road to get to their emergency patient, an entitled mother loses her cool until she realizes this is a prime opportunity to loot an ambulance. Let's jump right in. This is not my story, but my wife's, though I will do it from her perspective. She is an EMT and doesn't have Reddit. She shares stories on a group app with some friends. Some are so good though. This one really got me itchy all over. She said I could share them if I don't reveal locations and names and not mention specific conditions of patients unless relevant, etc. Our cast is an entitled mother, her kid, an old sick lady, an old man, who's the old sick lady's husband, a nice neighbor, 2 public transportation officers, my wife, and her partner. A call is received, we head out. A worrying call, not pandemic related. The old sick lady has other health issues. She is, however, very fragile. They called in a little late, hoping it would pass on its own, to limit exposure if possible. It didn't pass. It got quite bad, to the point going to the hospital by themselves was no longer an option. We arrive at the house in question, no other options than to double park. Nice neighbor waves us down. Note, as far as I know, he does shopping and gardening, etc. for the old lady and the old man. I'm unsure, but he's a nice guy anyway. I went inside and my partner gathered the equipment needed. The old sick lady is a frequent caller. We knew what was needed. We are now both inside the lady's house. My partner mentioned that there was a car waiting in front of the ambulance and a lady inside was gesturing angrily. Barely 2 minutes pass. A horn starts blaring outside constantly. Nice neighbor can be heard yelling at someone through the noise. Then silence. A car door slams. An unknown high-pitched voice, who's the entitled mother, can be heard but too far away to really understand. It's quiet for a bit, then the following can be heard at the doorstep. The door is cracked open a little. "Get out of the way!" "No, ma'am, what are you doing? You need to move your car, you're blocking in the ambulance." "Well, it should have just parked in a spot then. There was one right there. Now move and let me in. I have a child in the car. I've been waiting for 10 minutes. Nothing was free when we arrived, and we don't care. We park conveniently for us, not you. Meanwhile, we are still caring for the old sick lady. "Ma'am, you're not getting in. Do not touch me." "Let me in! I need to talk to the ambulance people!" More yelling of the same sort continues. She's not giving up. Calling in a disturbance. "What is her problem? Why does she want in my house? I don't know this woman. Why does she want inside my house? Do I call the police? My wife is sick. Why is she yelling?" The old man was getting very anxious about the whole situation. Since my partner didn't need my help for the current part, and keeping the calm was more important, I went to the door. "What is the problem?" "Well, Excuse me! You're blocking the entire road! You should move your car!" "We're on call. Please back up and drive around the other side of the square." I try to head back inside. I'm not the one blocking the road. I have my 6-year-old with me. He is frightened and just wants to go home." A kid, who looks to be over 10 years old at least, is trying to sink through the ground standing next to the car. "Then turn your car around and go home. We're not moving our ambulance for you. This person needs help and you need to leave before we call the police." "Wow, okay. Don't have to be a flipping rude about it. We're all in this crisis together, you know." "Oh, by the way, are those masks for the virus? They look like they work well." From inside, my partner calls me and I run inside. The entitled mother calls after me. "I'm not that good at backing up. Could you help me?" "Hello?" Later, the nice neighbor stated that he helped her back out before heading back inside to check on his kids. The old sick lady wasn't doing too well. The call was made to take her in as soon as we could safely move her. I run out and get the stretcher. The entitled mother was backed into an empty spot at this point. Meanwhile, a bus had been standing there parked off to the side for a few minutes. It couldn't detour like the cars did. The driver was just patiently messing about on his phone. I head back inside, working on the old sick lady. A few minutes later, we just got her on the stretcher as we hear the following. "Entitled mother, what are you doing? Get out of that ambulance!" "I'm just grabbing something for my son. They said it was okay. Get out now!" "Mom, I don't even want a mask. Let's go home, please." We walk outside and sure enough, the entitled mother was standing in the ambulance making a mess of everything, touching equipment, etc. without gloves, obviously searching for things. For information, the public transportation officers were nearby and had come to check out the situation of the blocked bus route. "Sir, did you give permission to this woman to enter and take stuff from the ambulance?" "Hell no! She has been making a whole scene and has now contaminated our ambulance!" My partner, meanwhile, had already called for a second ambulance as soon as we walked out and saw the entitled mother. That, luckily, arrived fast as lightning. They ended up having to take the old sick lady in. She left 4 or 5 minutes later than if they weren't delayed, but being stable, it seemed less risky to transfer her to their ambulance than to wait out the entitled mother and use a dirty one. The public transportation officers were still trying to get her to come out. They're not allowed to touch people, but looked about ready to drag her out by the ears. If they waited that long to even get her outside, she's fine. "Ma'am, that is not your call. You're blocking the EMTs from performing their jobs." They could at least hand out masks to people who don't have any. Waiting around for them to finish talking and leave puts us at risk too. Someone didn't take her meds today. Her arguments only became more and more childish, that she had right of way, that there was a parking restriction, etc. The public transportation officers finally got the woman to come out of the ambulance right before the police arrived. They arrested the entitled mother. She went ballistic and started crying and grasping at her kid. The poor kid was bawling his eyes out, scared and confused. The nice neighbor ended up calling the kid's dad, who came to collect him within minutes. The dad barely said a word, but the kid was crying. He didn't want to visit mom anymore if she kept doing mean things. And dad looked ready to pop her head off her shoulders, but kept his cool. I really felt for the poor boy. The case was clear with not only tons of witnesses, but also a recording on the ambulance's camera, the public transportation officer's body cameras, and the bus's dash camera. Now there is a woman who clearly lives in her own little world of delusion. Hopefully this gives her a little dose of reality. In story 2, we have an entitled mother who doesn't understand why a restaurant would bring out food to someone who has ordered ahead before they serve her. I ordered some pasta and mozzarella sticks from a local pizza joint for lunch today. I used their Google checkout to order and pay and put my info into the pickup notes. My phone bings, my food is done, so I scoot a mile down the road to the pizza place to pick it up. I pull up behind a minivan and call the number, get put on hold while she talks to the entitled mother in front of me. I can hear the whole conversation because she is using her car's speakers turned up to max, and she's screaming into the steering wheel. "I'm here to pick up an order." "What was the name on it?" "Helen." I'm not seeing an order for Helen. Did you place it online or call in?" "I didn't place it yet." "Sorry about that. I misunderstood you. What can I get you?" "This is why you work at a pizza dive, hun." Then she rattles off a long list of stuff, including 3 pizzas. "No problem. We'll get that ready for you. It will be about 30 minutes. "You can't go any faster. My kids are hungry." "This is the lunch rush. I'll put a flyer in your bag. It has the store number, and next time you can call ahead so we have it ready for you." And then she hangs up. Pizza Girl immediately picks up my line. I give her my name and she brings out my bag. It's a small paper bag and obviously doesn't contain 3 large pizza boxes. As soon as she steps out of the door, the entitled mother starts screaming at her. "Is that my food? Why are you giving her my food?" This is her order. She called ahead. "I was here first and I already told you my kids are flipping hungry." She ordered ahead. Your order is being prepared. Please be patient. "Ah, you suck!" And then she starts yelling at her kids to shut the flip up. At this point, I'm ready to give this girl a flipping medal, cause I was barely hanging on to my temper. Instead, I thanked her profusely for my food, told her she was doing an amazing job, and tipped her $20 on an $8 order. Not sure how it went down with the entitled mother after that, but I hope wherever you are, you're having a better day now, Pizza Girl. Wow, these people working at these fast food restaurants for almost no money are really the unsung heroes. In our final story, when a huge pre-planned emergency rescue exercise blocks off her route home, what is an entitled mother's solution? Move everything out of my way! So there was a large multi-agency exercise recently. The location was chosen and signs and media advertised the exercise time and date, warning that there will be disruptions to the suburb. The day of the exercise arrives, it gets set up. Residents watch from their windows and backyards. This is an event. The signal begins and the exercise starts. Emergency vehicles descend on the scene and it is go time. An hour later, yours truly has just finished clearing the scene of casualties and goes over to traffic control with their dinner. It's busy as normal. The few cars that didn't know of the exercise are turning around and going back to the detour. All is good. And then, entitled mother drives up to the roadblock. "I need to get through. My daughter is late for practice." The traffic controller tells her the road is closed and she will have to use the detour. She refuses to listen to him. I intervene, hoping the uniform will help. "Good evening, ma'am. Unfortunately, this road is closed due to a multi-agency training exercise. Please use the detour." She looks at me livid. "Well, I have to get through. Move everything off the road and let me through." I sigh. Then I have an idea. From the location of the roadblock, the exercise scene isn't visible. "Ma'am, if you would like to get out of the car and join me on that small rise." The entitled mother grumbles, gets out of the car and storms up to me, where she can now see the scene. What lies in front of her is a scene of pandemonium. A passenger train has collided with a semi-trailer carrying sulfuric acid. The collision had enough force to derail the train and slam the semi into 2 other cars. She can see the triage point with numerous live casualties, the body bags guarded by police and firefighters working to extricate trapped victims. I turn to her. "It might be some time before the road is clear. Best take that detour." She goes back to the car and takes the detour. This has been John from Slash Bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to see more of them, then please hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.